Bhaskari. So by now you all have heard about upcoming total solar eclipse, which is on 8th of April 2024. I am very excited about it, and I have already done 2 times tracking of the sun using my star tracker. Try to learn how to do solar eclipse and come out any shortcoming or what to do and what not to do during the actual solar eclipse. So if you are also very excited, I would suggest you to try out the solar eclipse, try out to shoot the sun for the complete duration, like from 12:20 to 3:20, and or whatever area you have and whatever solar eclipse duration there. So by doing that, you will have a rough idea what can go wrong and what can go right, and you can fix it. So that time you will not have surprises during the actual solar eclipse time. So here I'm not coming here to teach you how to do the solar eclipse. I'm coming here to share my own experience, what I have observed from when I tried last 2 times, and what I have done, and how I was able to track the sun for 3 hours continuously using a star tracker. If you don't have a star tracker, it's fine. You can skip that star tracker part, and you can just use a tripod, camera, and the lenses. I am using 600 mm lenses. You can use 300. I have done 300 mm during another solar eclipse. It can work with any lenses, 300, 600. It just you will be a little bit closer with 600. With 300, you will be a little bit far. But the process is same. So let's start with the star tracker first. So you can see the Star Adventure 2i star tracker for me, and for this sharing, I assume you have a little bit of knowledge about this star tracker, how to mount it and how to track it. But still, I would suggest you to spend some time to align it for the all leg and look at the bubble. It is at the center, because that will impact a very good part when you are tracking the sun, and it will not deviating from the horizontal and the vertical. So biggest problem when we are tracking the sun using star tracker is actually polar align. At night we have a polar star, we can look into that and we can align it, but at the daytime we don't have the polar star. So how we can do it? So to do that, you need a few tools. Your Android compass. So that compass is free, and you can download it and use that to polar align it. So what you need to do it, you can use that compass and set it into the true north side. So every compass has two variables, that magnetic north and the true north. Magnetic north is a little bit deviate from the true north. So once you are aligning it, make sure your compass is set to true north, not just a magnetic north. And then once you set to true north, you can roughly set your camera pointing to the north side. So by that way, your tracker will point you to the north direction. Once it is pointing to the north direction, you have to make it with a proper latitude, that elevation. So it will actually point to the north star, not just the north side. So for that, you can open your console app if you are using a star tracker. If you have any other tracker, everyone provides their own application. You can go into your application, go to your location, and look for the latitude. Whatever latitude they are saying, you can adjust on top of that. So that way, you are pointing to that north pole in a daytime. And this is the free app, and with my experience, it worked pretty good, because for the sun tracking, we don't need to point exactly. Little bit deviation will work. And even if you want to be more precise about it, then you can buy another polar alignment, which is very useful for daytime tracking. I personally have used that today to track the sun, and I was able to track the sun for 3 hours. So this is Polar Aligner Pro. You can use that. So while you are using Polar Aligner Pro or that magnetic field, one thing you have to take care of. This tracker has electric field, and it will pass the magnetic current, electricity around it. Once it is that electricity play with magnetic field with your mobile camera. So what you need to do, you have to make sure you are using some tool like a wooden tool or the plastic one, which will make your camera a little bit further away from your tracker, and that way you are able to align it properly. I use the plastic pipe. You can use anything. Just you don't need to use something like an iron rod or something which is a good conductor of electricity. You need something like a plastic or a wooden plate that is a bad conductor of electricity. So if you are using the Polar Line Pro, I align it using that plastic pipe, and you need to put that the red dot just center of your polar line, and you use the daytime polar alignment. Once it is polar aligned, everything is set to go. So now once you polar align, we come into that camera setting. So if you start at the eclipse time, so that time the sun is at the full glory, and it has the maximum light it is emitting. So at that time, you need to set something which is not very high, low shutter speed, so it will not expose so much of light. And also you need some filter which will block the most of the sunlight, so it will save from your camera sensor to getting hot. Once, so first I have used for my setting ISO 800, f-stop 6.3, and the shutter watt 800. And you can see my photo, what photo I have get from this setting, like from the complete sun setting. Once you set that camera and your camera is set up and you are pointing to the sun, now track the sun using that tracker. If you don't have that tracker, no worries, you can just put onto the tripod and manually you can track it. If you have a tracker, then you can use it and point your camera towards the sun, and all you need to do is change your setting to that solar tracking. That's all. Once you put your tracker to the solar tracking, they will automatically track the sun. Now there is a two thing with the tracker. Either you can take a photos by using the tracker, or you can do the continuous mode. So if I am taking photo by using tracker, then my tracker will click a sun photo in every 1 second. So I personally find out this is too much of photo initially. Clicking photos is every 1 second, and it will drain my battery very fast, and it will fill my memories also very fast. So what I did, I set my camera into the continuous mode and use my tracker just to track the sun, not to click the photos. So once my tracking is start, I used my camera in continuous mode setting and start taking photos with 15 seconds of gap, 15 seconds of frame gap. So that way I will have a less photos initially, and tracking the solar eclipse after every 15 seconds, we will get a good photo and time lapse also when we merge into every one of them. Now the second thing I am practicing about is a bracketing. What's the bracketing do? Like exposure bracketing. So if like I share my camera setting, so if I put into that exposure bracketing and I put it with a 7 frame for the bracketing, so it takes the 7 frame with a different exposure setting with my base setting, whatever I have set it. So at after every 15 seconds, it is actually taking 7 photos with 7 different exposure. One which is just set to base to me, and then +1, -1, +2, -2, +3, -3. For that partial solar eclipse, it is helpful, but once you reach to the totality, it is really, really helpful, because once in a totality, you have a different part of the corona from 0.12 radius to 0.8 radius, where you want to that outer corona, and then just a little red emitting light from the sun, for which you need a higher exposure. So for that you need to capture all the different settings and merge it together. So once I am doing the bracketing, I will capture all the exposure, and I can set that all together. Now come to the totality. So till now we have tracked the total solar eclipse. Once we come to the totality, we have a different part: the corona, red light, and different like just after sun diamond ring, and the red spot emitting from the sun, and everything required a different setting. So that time you need to also practice when you are taking photos. you need to capture practicing that solar eclipse. You need to take a photos. Also, you need to practice how to change your own shutter speed and f-stop without disturbing your tracker or the tracker orientation. So in that corona total eclipse totality, we need to set that if I am using 600 mm and I want to capture the corona, probably I will set my setting to 2-second exposure. If I want to capture that the red emitting light just near the sun, then I will set my camera to 1/1000. So I have a table what exposure we should set at corona time exactly. So let me explain you with this table. So
look at this table. For the top side, if you look at the top left side, we have a ISO table, top right side F number. For a down table, left side is a eclipse feature, middle is a Q value, which is your brightness exponent, and the right side is a shutter speed. So how to calculate? Let's take the example of corona 0.3 RS3. So 3 here is, it means this exposure also recommend for the diamond ring effect. So if I have to capture the diamond ring effect, what should be our setting? So let's take the example of ISO 200. For ISO 200, my shutter is my f.5.6 come into the second column and the 8 come into the third. So I go down to the second column for corona 0.3 RS3 and I see 1/250 for 5.6 and 1/125 for 8. Mine is 6.3, so I will keep in between these two. So probably I will set my shutter speed for 200 with ISO 200 and my shutter speed is also will be 200 in that case. So you can look into this feature and to capture the different part, like for corona 0.1, corona 8 radius, you can look into the table and calculate your exposure time and the shutter speed and corresponding ISO to capture each feature during the totality.
we can go through that. Now, once you have captured all that setting, then what we need to consider about your battery life. So if that's why one of the thing I am very much suggesting everyone to capture the photo for complete duration. Once you shoot for three hour or 3.5 hour, you will know what is your battery duration and when you need to change the battery. So I personally would like to start that tracking and taking shoot half an hour before, just because if I prepare myself and start tracking half an hour before, so if anything goes wrong, I still have a half an hour of buffer to fix it. So, and I will not miss my initial solar eclipse things. And if I am starting half an hour before and my totality is happening after 1 hour from actual eclipse and half an hour before it's just 2 hours. So I want to test my battery, how much duration it is actually giving while taking the photos, because I don't want to change my battery during the totality. So once I try today, so it goes for more than 2 hours from that full charge battery to getting this very less charge where I need to change the battery. And if I am starting from half an hour before, then it is within the range that I don't need to change the battery till the totality will finish. I don't want to touch this setup for any reason, or because that the more I touch the setup, the more it can get disoriented from that polar line. Probably we want to avoid that. So only thing we need to touch this setup when we need to change that shutter speed for that totality and try to catch that corona. So yeah, once you have done all this, you will have a lot of frame. And in the next video, I will talk about how to edit those frames to the Photoshop to create time lapse of total solar eclipse and to create the good photos of totality corona. Also, while we all are like a photographer, and while you are taking photos, this total solar eclipse is something is not going to happen every day, and probably you will in your lifetime you will able to observe the totality one time, two times. That's all. So I will suggest during the totality, try to take a time for a 30-second or a minute just to observe the totality, not to take any photo. So it's a 4-minute duration totality, depending upon if you are in the middle of that totality, to 1 minute to 4 minutes. Whenever you are, if you are coming into that totality path, take some time. If I am in a 4 minute in the middle of the totality, probably I will take a minute not to take photos, just to see that totality and observe the corona and everything. And then again I will switch back to changing the setting of ISO and other part to take a good photos on that. Yeah, so that's all from my side, and let's see. I will be really hopeful to see your photos, how it's gonna look and how you photograph it. If you have any suggestion, if you have any doubt, feel free to comment below, ask me, I will reply. And once you take photos, whatever photos you get, whatever videos you get, feel free to comment it, share it in the comment section.